Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up show. It's your boy, Bret here. Alongside of me is our newest member of NetSN, Christian Blevins, Corey Marshall, and Mr. Red Zone. I'll see you, Mr. Red Zone, to Mr. NetSN, Kyle.
Okay. All right. I got you. I like that. I like it.
I had to come up with something creative, and I was like, I'm going to still call Mr. Red Zone. I'm Mr. NetSN.
I like that.
We have a special guest tonight that's going to join us. You may have seen his stuff on YouTube from the Spence & Company YouTube channel. We have Spence. Welcome, sir.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man?
What's up, man?
Good.
Spence,
So those that have never heard of your stuff, let them know what you've got going on your YouTube channel.
all right, man. So on my YouTube page is a collection of Blog Boy East Texas football stuff, man. I've always been like a secret journalist my whole life, and so I really love this area, this football. And so preseason rankings of players, of course, a big top 100 list that I try to do at the top of the year, around February or so, where I rank, who I think the best 100 players are in East Texas. And then a weekly show that I do, the top 10 most intriguing games, where kind of like what you guys do, previewing games and then talk about the week before and try to show some of the top plays. I'm just a huge East Texas football guy. I've been there my whole life and part journalist in me. So this is how I get my hobby off a little bit.
Well, you're in the right spot because we have a lot of similar interests in this room, and I'm glad you're able to join us tonight and kind of input in the conversation. Always welcome here at NetSN, Spence.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, guys, how's everybody's week going?
Good.
Good, man.
So let's talk last week's picks. I know Mr. Red Zone wants to talk about last week's picks. How'd you do last week?
Oh man, I did all right. I think that I had the creative juices flowing last week. The Brownsboro pick is what got me the win. The Brownsboro pick is what put me above everybody. And the only reason I picked them is because I'd seen them. I hadn't seen Bullard. If I had seen Bullard, I may have picked them. But so shout out to Brownsboro for getting me the 10-0.
Brownsboro. I'm mad at you, Brownsboro.
Oh my God.
I went 9-1, and that was my one miss. Was that get game I had Bullard. So I'm mad. Bullard, you let me down. That's why I cover Brook Hill, I guess. Vince, how'd you do?
I went 9-1.
Solid 9-1.
9-1.
So that's a solid week. Some really good games last week, and we'll start with the first game on our pick'ems. Was a game that Spence can give us some good insight on, as the Longview Lobos got the 13-6 win over Forney. Spence, I see you got your Longview shirt on there. Tell us about this one.
Man, that game was it was eerie, man. That's the only way to really describe what was going on tonight. It was really eerie. It had a weird vibe to it the whole night. But honestly, our offense performed well until we got into the red zone all night. We got stopped at the one numerous times, even got a field goal block, which hasn't happened in a very long time in Longview football. I hadn't seen a field goal get blocked in Longview in a long time. They got a really good block there at the end. Defense did a really good job of just, bending and not breaking it. Listen, that game should have been called 1,000 ways to lose because we did almost everything we could to hand that game over. But luckily, man, we continued to play good D like we did all night and came up with a huge stop at the end of the game and got out of there. I thought really, honestly, we played good enough to probably win by 3 or 4 scores. And it just did not. The ball didn't go in the end zone. It's kind of like I was watching Texas and Oklahoma and watching them get stopped at one. And that's exactly how it was like, what's going on?
Man, that's bad flashback memories. Oh,
man, listen, it was terrible. But
that's not talking
luckily,
about it.
Yeah,
we still got in the left side of the column. We still got that win and still undefeated in district. And
let's see who we got here.
Got a good one.
Let's see who we got here tonight with us. We got Chris. Mr. Hooks is back for you, Kyle. He's got something for you. I think Hooks greater than Harmony Eagles. Man,
Wait, that's okay. We'll
That's
talk about the polls later.
That's a bold statement.
Talk about the polls later. I think Eddie will be happy. I redid my whole polls this week.
Eddie's congratulating you on your 9-1, I think, Vince.
Appreciate it, Eddie. Appreciate it. It
Eddie's
was a long time coming
tonight, man. That's some strong words. Yeah, I was surprised. We've talked about this district a little bit, Spence, and we've kind of set Longview's kind of the top guy and Forney's right below, and then 3 through even down to 6 is just it's a dog.
It's wide open,
and it's just anybody can be anybody in those last 4. Lancaster kind of put themselves in a little hole starting off 0-2, but they were able to beat Tyler High last week. We'll talk about that game here in a minute, but Lufkin and Tyler High is going to be playing an elimination game here. That's coming up here in a few weeks. So that's wide open, but I think you guys, we kind of, I know it's don't want to jinx it, but we kind of think you guys are kind of a head and shoulders above, and it sounds like from what you're describing is that y'all should have won by a little more. Just it was one of those nights that Forney just played. Their defense is impressive, though. They've shut some people out, so I knew it was going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, for sure they are. They played really good defense tonight, especially the red zone defense. They locked in and they got it together. Now we made a bunch of mistakes, and that's just a coach talking, but they definitely played good ball tonight, man. The game I'm interested the most in that district is watching Lancaster and Forney. I can't wait till those two teams play because that is going to be very explosive. I know that's not East Texas, but just from the district's sake, when those two, I really can't wait to watch the tape on that one because that's going to be a really great game.
Awesome. Anybody else want anything to add on the Longview game? Y'all's thoughts on it?
I mean, I thought it was closer than I expected. But Longview's defense has proven, especially these last 3 or 4 weeks, that they're up for the task this year. I think that Longview's got a really strong defense, and their offense is powerful too. And Spence, since you were at the game, I know it looked, just looking at the stats, it looks like Andrew Tutt only had 1 completion, I think. I mean, it was mostly just ground game. So I guess that's kind of the only thing that worries me about Longview. I don't want them to be one-dimensional on offense where, you know what I mean, they have to rely on Tatum in the running game too much. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. You definitely look at that and you want to be balanced. You definitely want to be balanced. And it was a little concerning watching it. It was, you would hope, that we could throw some passes. The one pass we completed was to Boosie Washington, a deep post route, and he ran behind the corner pretty easy. So, he was like, okay, they can throw it, just like, why not? But, that's not for us to question the call or whatever. But, well, I guess it is. But, it is what it is. King's a great guy, man. He's a great coach. He knows what he's doing. So I'm not going to doubt him. He does it year in and year out. And so we're going to be there at the end like we always are.
It's the win in the win column is what you got. So that's all that
matters.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
Biggest thing. For sure.
Eddie's saying that QB is a weakness. Well, when you got Taylor Tatum, that does make it probably a weakness a little bit. You don't need to throw very much. Why not when you got a run game like that? So, okay, and Chris is saying go Lobos. Hey, Chris.
Chris. I like it. Positivity. We need that.
So,
wait a minute. Ain't no sucking up on the show, man. If you is what it is. I mean, no, we're not. Listen, I got a rule. I'm not picking. I don't pick over East Texas schools. So anytime we play a game, especially against a Dallas school, we're not picking over East Texas school. At least I'm not. I don't know who picked Forney last week. Somebody in this chat over here to the right probably did, but I'm not picking over an East Texas school. So, so if it's Lobos all the way. It is what it is. If one East Texas school win, we all win. That's what it happens. That's what we do.
Wow. No, I definitely had Longview. I don't know who had Forney. There was a few that did, I think.
But not Forney. Somebody had Forney. He's not here today. I think he had Forney, didn't he? You
talking about Coach Hubbard?
Somebody said something about Forney. I don't
think so.
Maybe I'm a little off.
Not in this game, I don't think, Corey. I think we all had Longview in this one. Now, Forney plays somebody else, then it may be different, but not against Longview. So
anyway, enough on the losers. They lost.
Hey, Derek's here. Welcome back, Derek. We hadn't seen you in a few weeks. All right. Game 2. We have Brownsboro over Bullard. Oh, this one was surprising. Of course, we talked about how Bullard hadn't played a very tough non-district schedule. Came in and both these teams had gotten just beat down by Carthage. But I'm impressed. Jakyle Baker on the outside is a big threat for Brownsboro. That probably the player that Bullard doesn't have. But the Barrett kid for Bullard's been playing really well on offense. The quarterback there. I was just really surprised with this one. I just thought Bullard would go in and take care of business. I think they were looking at playoffs, and now they're in trouble. Now Brownsboro has the upper hand, and we've kind of discussed that 4 spot is what's kind of open. Rusk is maybe not as strong as we thought they were, and so maybe now it's the Brownsboro Rusk game that decides that 4 spot. What do you guys think?
I mean, I definitely agree. I think looking at the district standings and who the teams got coming up, we kind of know Carthage, Center, Van. Those are the top 3 that we know are going to be in the playoffs. And then, like you said, that 4th spot, Brownsboro now owns the tiebreaker over Bullard. So, like you said, that Brownsboro Rusk game, in 2 weeks. They play on, or 3 weeks. They play on the 27th. So, and it's in Brownsboro, and weird things seem to always happen in Brownsboro. So, I think it will come down to that Brownsboro and Russ game to see who gets that 4th spot, and we'll have to see what happens. But again, shout out to the Bears, 10-0.
Are you wearing a Brownsboro
Brownsboro
shirt?
about to lose.
No,
Yeah.
I'm wearing a SN shirt.
Oh, a NetSN. That's a nice shirt, man.
Yeah.
Hey, give me one of those, please.
Hey, I have yours. I just gotta get it to you.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna go with Rusk. I think they have a good enough team to beat Brownsboro. Like Kyle said, weird things always happen in Brownsboro. I remember there was a blocked field goal when they played Bullard a couple years ago that somebody took back for a touchdown, and it cost them. I think it cost one or two teams a playoff spot. So like weird things happen in Brownsboro all the time, but we'll see. I still have Rusk going, so that's my 4th.
The only thing about Rusk is the 76 points they gave up to center was eye opening, bro. Like I'm watching it, I'm 76, and then of course center has been scoring on any and everybody.
Center plays basketball on NetSN, Spin.
No, it is. Yeah, seriously. Whether it's football or basketball, they're really like high flying and they can get up and down the field. I think the biggest thing for Brownsboro and why I like them a lot, especially for their 4th spot, is Adam Thompson. That kid is getting the ball to Jakyle Baker, and I think that's the biggest difference between this year and last year. Is I don't think Adam Thompson started at quarterback for them last year. I think he's a new starter for them, and the offense has really picked up, and they're finding ways to get the ball to the best guy on the field, which is really important. Like, it ain't too many fields that Jakyle Baker's going to be on where he's not the best player. And so with Thompson throwing that ball out there to him, there's a little life down there, man, and they're all playing well. It's not even the passing game. They ran the ball well, too. I don't know his name, but number 3 and number 4, those 2 running backs that they got, man, they had a good game against Bullard. So I like Brownsboro getting their 4th spot, and I'm just kind of disappointed with Rusk a little bit. That defense is just like, oh, man, what happened? Like the Van game. Like, I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but, man, I didn't expect Van to walk away with them the way that they did.
And to your point, too, about Brownsboro, not only do they have Jakyle Baker, I forget the kid's name, but they have a big tight end, too. He's number 19. He's a big kid, and he's good in that, short passing game and can kind of get that short yardage in the passing game too. So yeah, they got some. I like Brownsboro. The only time I got to see him was against Van, and they didn't look too good against Van. So, but they do have some good athletes on offense for sure.
To me, that was a game Bullard had to have. I thought Bullard's been playing. I think they've been playing a lot harder this year. I thought the defense was a lot better than what they showed. Like I said, they only gave up 38 points against Carthage. I said they only gave up 38 points. They didn't put a 50 spot on them, They didn't score 54 points last year, So that defense is playing a lot better. That was a game that Bullard had to have. And because they can beat Rusk, and I think they can beat Canton. Now, will they beat Rusk? That's a different story. But that was a game that they had to have if they wanted to get that 4th spot. Now, Brownsboro has their 4th spot. Can they beat Rusk? For sure. But everybody's gonna be Canton. But those 3, Brownsboro, Bullard, and Rusk, are gonna be very interesting for the rest of that district. And I don't know how it's gonna shape out, but right now Brownsboro has the upper hand because they beat Bullard. All you gotta do is beat Rusk, and I'm pretty sure they'll win out. But other than that, I don't. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, because
that's one of those guys can still an upset. Beat center. I doubt that happens. Russell already had a shot, but I doubt Brownsboro and Bullard's going to beat center.
Because Bullard's got Canton this week, Corey. They have Canton, so they'll get a win this week, and then they finish with Rusk, Center, Van. So you got to think out of those 3, you got to win 2 of those probably.
They'll win 2 of those games, but as I said, they had to win that Brownsboro game. Yeah, they had to win that Brownsboro game. Who knows? They might be Van, and I could be wrong. They may show up.
Well, right now, Bullard and Rusk are both 0-2 in district, and Brownsboro's 1-2.
Oh,
So, the way it sits currently, of course, the big guys haven't played each other yet. Van and Center play this week, but they'll start to get some L's down there. But it's going to be tough. You want to get off to a good start in district for a reason, because you don't want to have to. There could be I could see a 3-way split there. I could see a 3-way tie. Russ, Brownsboro, and Bullard. Maybe they beat all each other, and then it comes to one of those weird tie breaks. But you sure don't want to put yourself in that position. So.
No, but I mean I don't think there's going to be as many upsets as I think it'll kind of play out. I think Brownsboro gets in just by scheduling, and to the point about scheduling, Van. I mean, it kind of sucks when these teams had to play them. Brownsboro and Bullard and those guys got Carthage and Center out of the way early, whereas Van had to wait till the middle of the district, and then Van doesn't get Carthage till like their last games. Carthage's last game of the year is Van, so they get to wait a while to play them. So it just kind of sucks how the schedule falls sometimes.
Yep. All right. Anybody else want to comment on this? We're all ready to move to game 3.
We can go to game 3.
All right. Got Brookfield 27-7 over Grace Prep. So Coach Hubbard and the Penguin squad, as we call them, got the win. Another defensive touchdown for the defense for Brookhill. So getting a win on homecoming. Grace Prep actually, as of right now, they've done the realignment in TAPS, and so Grace Prep's actually a district opponent for the next year, along with Grace Community. As it stands, they can appeal that. I'm learning the TAPS process, but big win for Brookhill going into district play. I'll be traveling to that game this week in Dallas for their first district game. And so I think that was a big win. Grace Prep currently is in the district that they might actually play them in the first round of the playoffs if they get third in that district. So it's good to see that they're playing well right now. Anybody got any thoughts on the Brookhill game?
Well, I mean, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Go ahead, Vince.
I was just gonna say Brookhill is I've been saying that Brookhill is solid defensively, so that makes it easy for them. Makes it easy on the offense. We talked about the changes they made offensively to get more points on the board. It seems to be working right now. I know they had some injuries. I think maybe a couple of those guys may have already made it back. But they're looking really solid right now. I can't remember who they had an opponent coming up that I think Jeremy alluded to at the beginning of the year that he was kind of concerned about.
Probably Dallas Christian.
I'm trying to see.
Dallas Christian.
Yes, Dallas Christian. Definitely Dallas Christian. That's it.
They're defending state champs. They won. They beat Dallas Covenant last week 55-0. That's who Dallas Covenant is, who Brookhill plays this week. They're really solid. He said they've got to commit a receiver that's commit to SMU. That stiff armed 2 guys last week. He's going to send me the clip. Stiff armed 2 guys with one arm, shoved them to the ground, and ran and scored a touchdown. So we'll see them October 20th. Vince, me and you will be on the call there next week in Brookhill to see Dallas Christian.
Next week
to see how they look in person. All right. Game 4. ARP 46-34 over Grand Saline. Vince and I were at this one, and it was a big playoff seeding game for this district. We kind of have Troop and West Rusk at the top, and Grand Saline, ARP, Edgewood, Winona were all tied going into the night at 1-1. And 3 of those 4 lost, and it wasn't ARP. ARP goes on the road in Grand Saline with a big win. Our man Zane Superbork, we call him, had a great night. He had 5 catches for 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. Frank Smith had a nice, solid game on the ground. He had over 100 yards rushing on the ground and then 300 through the air. ARP look impressive to me. I think they're the 3rd spot right now, pretty solid in there under Troop and West Rusk. They have a big rivalry game this week that I think they could surprise some folks in. I think they're going to give Troop a harder game than some people think. But I've been impressed with Coach Meeke and the ARP Tigers. Vince, I know you were there with me on the call. What did you think about this one?
Um, that was a big win, needed win. Uh, like I said before, I still like Grand Saline. I think Grand Saline is tough. They gotta. For me, I felt like they didn't really make the adjustments needed to get ahead of ARP. Um, they were just right behind them, and they just stayed behind them, and they were in love with that run game, and it wasn't working. And I'm big about adjustments. Like if it don't work, throw it out. Let's move on to something else. They just held on to it, and it cost them. But Art, big win, needed it. Uh, what's his name? Bork? Am I saying that right?
Name Bork.
Bork. Okay, that dude is amazing, absolutely amazing. Probably at least that's probably the best play I've seen. Like when he stiffed armed the two guys on the sideline and then peeled off on three other ones to run into the end zone. That's probably the best play I've seen all year so far. And he just was doing it all night. All night he got what he wanted. And it's weird because a lot of times with receivers, they get separation with the DB. That's how they're able to make their plays. Well, the DB for Grand Saline was so good, he was with him the whole time. He was D'ing him up. That's what we talked about on the call. He was D'ing him up. It's just that it was as if he Bork was just he locked in on the ball and he was just snatching it out of there. And while your DB is sitting there looking for the ball, he pulls away from him at that point. Um, Big win. Frank Smith is amazing as well. So yeah, they look polished. They definitely look polished.
Looking at the district, we're talking about that fourth spot. I agree that West Rush, Troop, and Art probably the top 3 seeds, but Edgewood could throw a wrench in all this if they can knock off Art on the 27th. If they beat Art, then it's a complete chaos in the district.
So that's the thing with Edgewood. I don't think nobody really knows what Edgewood is right now. They graduated a lot of people, and so they got a few playmakers, but I don't know if this. I don't want to say that this is their year, but like you said, they gonna throw a wrench in somebody's plans.
I think Winona
playoffs.
Winona
they gonna hurt somebody.
Winona holds their destiny in their own hands. Like they really have Troop left on the schedule that you can count as probably a for sure loss. Other than that,
yeah,
they play Grand Saline in 2 weeks. If they beat Grand Saline, then they got Quitman at the end of the year. Because of that win over Edgewood, they could sneak into the playoffs. So, and it's been a while since Winona's been playing meaningful football. So I'll be interesting to see how Coach Kincaid can get those boys fired up to go in a couple of weeks against Grand Saline, because that's essentially a playoff game. You win that one, you control your destiny. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that district pans out.
Just touching on the Grand Saline ARP game. Same thing like Vince said. Listen, they just fell in love with the run. They kind of remind me of Arizona with USC. They just wouldn't go to something else.
They wouldn't get away from it, and they
wouldn't get away from it. And so they lost because of that. I thought they could have easily won the game. They could have won the game by at least by 3 points and maybe 1 touchdown, but they couldn't do it. I'm impressed.
Not to mention the boneheaded play that cost them the touchdown at the end of the game. I mean, I'm sorry, at the end of the first half.
That was a mess.
That mental mistake right there. I mean, me and Bret, we were up there with those coaches. That first coach that walked by, he just lost it. And I think that play alone is what really did it. I don't want to see. It's the first half, and I don't like to say that, but man, I feel like that's what did them in.
So it was like if you go. It was 25-20 or no, 25. Well,
I think that's right. I think it was 25-20. And ARP was marching.
25-20.
15 seconds left.
Yeah, ARP was inside the 5, and they throw a little fade jump ball in the end zone to Bork. Zane
Who
Taylor,
ain't missed all night. Ain't missed all night.
Jet Taylor, the quarterback, was playing cornerback, and he went up and intercepted it.
And he took it from him.
All the way down, and then about the 50-yard line, a guy just blindside blocked somebody. It wasn't even in the play. It was not gonna. It wasn't gonna matter. It's one of those.
Jet was gone.
And Vince said it. He's like, "Get out of the way. Don't touch it."
Yeah, I was saying. I said, no more blocking. No more blocking. And this dude he just laid this guy out, man.
So it went
laid him out.
It went from possibly being 32-20 ARP going into the half. Then it went from Grand Sling could be ahead 27-25 to nope, just wipe that play completely out into half.
Yeah.
And
so it went into the half.
And then the other thing is Grand Salim's defense gave up some plays too. So like I said, they couldn't get away from it. I watched some of the game that's Saturday, but they just couldn't get out of their own way. And then their defense gave up so much.
They went their own way that night.
So, Art did good, but really, let's be honest, Grand Saline should have won that game.
Grand Saline lost that game. Yeah, they lost that game, I think. But you know what? I ain't taking nothing from Art. Art played an amazing game. They did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Went on the road.
If you want to get in your own way, you get in your own way. But Art did exactly what they were supposed to do.
That might have been the biggest win of Schminke's tenure there in Art. Going on the road and beating Grand Saline, a team that you need to beat to get in.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and where's Art ranked in the top 4?
They're now third. They're 2-1 in district play. Troop and West Rusk are 2-0. There's 3 teams at 1-2: Edgewood, Grand Saline, and Winona. That's what Kyle was referring to as who had the edge.
Kyle, question: Do you think that Art could get that second spot?
If they beat Troop, they got to beat Troop this week. If they beat Troop, they have a chance. But if they don't beat Troop, I don't see a way. I don't see Troop losing to anybody other than West Rusk possibly in that district.
Who do y'all see winning that district? I mean, I think it's Troop.
I think Troop too.
I think it's Troop.
I think Troop's the best team in that whole district.
Yeah.
They're explosive on offense. They play good defense.
Yeah.
I don't even see it being close. West Rusk is hard.
It's hard to know what West Rusk is, and we've kind of talked about it. They had some injuries in the during the Tatum game, and so they didn't have everybody. And so they had some back. I know that they don't. Obviously, Coach Mata, this is his first year, but he was there last year. His son is no longer on offense, so that's a big loss for them. I still think that game's going to be a good one. I think the West Rusk Art game, from talking to some of the Art people, they had like 2 or 3 guys out missing during that game. So I think the West Rusk Art, I think it might have been a little closer if there was not the injuries. I think those 3 are a lot closer than I thought they were at the beginning of the year. I'll put this out here. I picked Art this week. It's at home. It's a rivalry game, so throw out all the records and everything that's going on. I think they got a chance to beat them. I think Troop's probably a better team, but it's one of those games that it's at home. It's a rivalry.
You pick Art, but you pick Art every week.
No, I don't. I do not pick ARP every week. You pick ARP every week, except for this week, Corey. No, you always say the ARP. I'm going with Schminke. No, I did not pick them against Garrison. They lost that one. I didn't. I only pick when games I think they can win. I think it's a rivalry game. It's at home. Home field advantage always means something in a rivalry game. And I think it's a big game for them. Troop.
Now when you people like Troop.
The question
Trey like Troop.
Troop has not played.
Trey Davis.
Troop has not
Trey
played.
Davis.
I know he's good. I'm not arguing. Trey Davis.
I think.
But
you got talent like Trey Davis, and you just ball like that. To me, every game is a home game.
Well,
it don't matter where you at.
They've got a good team. I think the question we've had with Troop is they haven't really played anybody yet. Their schedule.
So we don't know what they are.
They're not real. Their schedule's not real strong. I want to say ARP's schedule is way tougher than what Troop played. So
I will say this: the one guy that
are what your record says you are.
Not always.
Oh no, you're not. No, you're not.
Nah.
No, you're not.
Nah.
I will say this: the one guy who's probably will make a difference in this game is Shane Jasper from Troop, the running back. So We'll see. I got to be in a 28-21 ball game, but I mean,
It's going to be. I feel
Listen,
like it's going to be a good one.
The schedule's not helping ARP out here because Troop has West Rusk next week. So there's not if they didn't have West Rusk next week, then maybe there would be a letdown, even though it's a rivalry game. But Troop's going to be hyper focused this week to stay on course.
Are they though? Are
Potential
they going to overlook ARP and look next week to rest Rusk?
Because it's a rivalry game. They're not going to overlook ARP. They're going to want to. They're going to want to put the brakes on ARP.
Not ARP.
They're going to beat ARP.
Yeah, they're going to beat ARP.
Yeah, that's my long shot pick of the week. So I feel good about it. It's a good one to go with right there. All right, Game 5, Kilgore 64, Lindale 29. Man, you know what? I'm going to let our guests talk about this one because I saw something on your channel that you picked the upset. You and Corey must be the only one in East Texas that picked Lindale over Kilgore. We gave Corey a hard time.
And to be honest with you, the reason why I chose Lindale was because, for one, I like Lindale's style of play. It suited well for an upset. It's a physical style of football. They're going to run the ball. The quarterback controls the pace of the game the whole time. So I really thought that, they would be able to just move the ball on Kilgore. Oh, my God. I was so wrong. And now
stop playing with that Kilgore defense.
No, and clearly, I knew
talking about it. That Kilgore defense ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah, I knew Lindale wasn't going to stop them because they ain't stopped nobody in about 3 years. So I knew they wasn't going to stop nobody. But
about 10 years, about 10.
I did think they would speed the game up, like literally with the clock off the house, get first downs. Man, Kilgore, oh my God, they took a steel chair over their head. WWE style. That was bloody. Good God.
I mean, listen, I picked Lindale too, but I thought they were going to at least put up a fight, and it wasn't even.
Man,
it wasn't even close.
You guys give me hard. You guys give me a hard time about picking ARP, and y'all picking Lindale versus Kilgore. That
made no sense.
It was close. It was close in the first half because I'll tell you where it turned. Lindale went for it on fourth down near midfield, didn't get it.
Always.
Then Kilgore hit a 45-yard touchdown before halftime, and the momentum changed. Then right after halftime, kickoff for a touchdown, and then later in the quarter, another kickoff return for a touchdown.
That's what you do.
I'm taking nothing against, nothing away from Kilgore.
The thing is, the score was close when this game started at 0-0, but soon after that, it got out of hand.
Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing about Kilgore that's way different than last year. They are more explosive than they have been. And last year was heavy run. Isaiah Ross the year before, heavy run with Devin Ryder. But this year, it's like they're spreading the ball out. I mean, PJ Wiley's catching it. You've got I just lost his name. The DB who's really good. Jaden Sanders is over there killing on offense. They've got about 3 or 4 running backs that are going yard with it every time they touch it. It feels like the quarterback, Derek Williams, is an X factor.
Rayshawn Williams, the number 12, he's a freshman.
Yeah, the freshman pops up out of nowhere.
Yes.
And they've got I feel like they're way more explosive than they have been in the past. And I think it might bode them well against Chapel Hill. We're not going to talk about that yet, but I'm just saying Kilgore does look more explosive than they have in the past, and that's for sure.
I will say this. Somebody, I have a good friend in Kilgore. He said that the quarterback that they have now might be better than Demarion Van Zant. But I said, we'll see the last game of the year because they have to play Chapel Hill. But like I said, they got like 3-4 running backs. But I thought Lindale, at least, because, I talked about Clint Thurman, a couple of days ago, but I at least thought they were going to give, like I said, I thought they were going to give Kilgore a bigger fight. I think they got the first or second biggest offensive line in the district, but it didn't even phase them.
It didn't matter.
Like I remember Chapel Hill, we blew them out 79-45 last year. So, and their offensive line outweighed us hugely. Right. So, I don't. That was a shocker. That was a shocker.
Yeah, the offense has never been a problem at Lindale. It's always been the defense. They just can't stop a nosebleed. And so
They really hadn't had a good defense since 2020.
Since Kyle was there, right?
No, we had a good defense back. That was back in 08, 09. But we had a good defense back then. Like that we were stout on defense then, and then somewhere down the line it shifted. But I'll tell you, I said this at the start of the season. We have all front seven's never really been the issue. It's always been the secondary. Secondary has always been the Achilles heel to the Lindale defense. We've had front sevens. When Jeremy Calhoun was wrecking shop in Van, we shut him down. So like we've had front sevens that were stout. Absolutely.
He's the worst 5-star I've ever seen in my life. He is the worst 5-star I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna cap it.
Whoa.
He is the worst 5-star I've ever seen given out I've ever seen in my life.
Oh man.
To give him 5 stars.
The
disrespect. 5 stars.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. What did he do? As soon as he got to the level where everybody was as big as him, what did he do?
All right.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Overrated. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to get that off my chest.
Anyway, the secondary has always been the weak point. So that was proven Friday night.
Spence, what did you think about Jordan Jenkins? Was he what everybody made him out to be?
Jordan Jenkins was incredible for Lindale.
I mean, he put up 300 yards on us. So I mean,
he was incredible for Lindale.
He was the truth, and at this level,
And stylistically, he didn't choose a really good school to help him out. Like Jordan Jenkins
beat Argyle.
A school that was going to be committed to running the ball every other play. But I mean, he's good for high school football. When you're bigger and stronger and faster than all the other people, and you can just physically overtake a game, then you're incredible. But when you get to that next level and everybody's big and everybody's strong and everybody's fast, what do you do special? And so I think that's what happens.
And plus, he was like
right now.
He was like
great north to south. He didn't make any special. He didn't make any special play. He wasn't Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson his size.
No.
Adrian Peterson could stop on a dime, reverse, jump, run. It wasn't the same. Was he a great? Like you said, he was a great high school running back. He get to college and he's an average.
He's an
college.
He moves like a tight end. Is what he moves like.
Right.
And
I compared him to Derrick Henry, but
come on, dog.
No. Hey, listen, we played him twice. We played him twice, and he put up first time he put up 300 yards on us. Then the next time he put up 200, and so.
So it wasn't just us. He was doing that to everybody. Hold on, let's be clear. Hold on, he was doing that to everybody. He wasn't just doing that to Chapel Hill. Well, we're not going to just hang that on Chapel Hill. He did that to everybody.
Chapel Hill, we weren't real good back in that time. That was before things kind of turned around. So that was not that our defense.
I don't think we could stop the run.
Not that our defense.
I don't think we could stop the run like that now.
Yeah, well, we would do better than we did back then. I would say that.
Yeah, come try to do it now.
All right, let's see. We got
because I pick with my heart. I pick with my head, Eddie, not with my heart. That's why.
Because he picked
Lindale.
Gonna win.
I picked Lindale over Kilgore. I thought that was a trap game for somebody. I'm saying it, man. That Lindale's gonna beat either Chapel Hill or Kilgore. They didn't beat Kilgore, so Chapel Hill better bring the A game. That's a trap.
No. Stop it.
That is a trap.
No
game.
way, Corey.
Stop it.
No.
Don't say no way. Don't be biased. You seen Chapel Hill start slow. We seen Chapel Hill start slow. We seen Chapel Hill start slow against Palestine. Palestine's ran the football. They've had trouble.
Palestine is not bad though.
Who is Lindale gonna stop?
Defensively,
Chapel Hill. Who can they stop?
It may be 82 to 80.
Lindale ain't scoring 80 points.
Listen,
like Chapel Hill's defense is good too, man.
They're not bad. They a lot of the.
They're not bad, but they're not Kilgore's defense.
No, but I've talked to. They've got some dudes on defense. I've talked to Coach McFarland a lot, and if you look at the way the game plays out, a lot of their points given up are at the end after they blowing the team out. They give up some second team.
I know. I watched the game. I understand. I'm just saying in general. I'm saying this game could go south. I'm just saying, if you watch the games and how they play, if they come out lackadaisical, it could go south. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't
If
think
Wyatt
Lindell-
Parker is out, like the people in the comments are saying, if Wyatt Parker is out, it's a wrap.
That's
They
different.
might not. They might not be nobody else
58-51
in this
Chapel
year.
Hill.
It might just be Jacksonville, and that's it. If Wyatt Parker is out.
I don't
Oh,
even.
It might be the
God.
only
Let's
team they
not talk
beat
about
if
this.
they don't
Let's
have
not
the
talk because
tailback.
here's the thing: if it happens, then we got to sit here and talk about it. And Corey's gonna be the only one that's
Hey, I
gonna
won't be here
sitting
next
there
week.
with a cigar in his mouth, like I
He
told
can say
y'all.
whatever he wants.
I won't be here next week. I'm a 1 week
Listen.
kind of guest unless y'all
I
invite
don't
me
want to
back.
have to
I
hear
won't be
that.
here.
Listen.
I don't want to have to
I
hear
don't want
that.
to be right. I don't want to necessarily be right, but I'm saying I'm a homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm a homie. I want them to win. But if they come out being lackadaisical, it could be one of those like, oh my
Look,
God,
Corey,
I can't believe this happened.
let me
Say it.
ask you this. We've talked about this because it's been hinted to on this show many a time. Vince, Brett, y'all can attest to this too. Christian, I'm sure you feel the same way. Chapel Hill hates Lindell, does not like Lindell, does not like anything about Lindell. They're going to come out and try to make a statement because Kilgore just made a statement
hope
about
so.
beating Lindell
I hope
64-29.
Thank you.
So Chapel Hill's going
I
to try
hope
and
so.
come and outdo that statement to
They
set up
got
that
to.
big matchup.
So let me
They
ask
ain't
you,
overlooking
hope
Lindell.
so.
what changed?
I hope so.
What changed in this game to change the score from last year? 79 to whatever it was that Chapel Hill put up against Lindell. It was like a 30-point win. What's changed? Chapel Hill basically has the same dudes back. I mean,
Just better.
Lindell's offensive line is not as good as last year. They still have their stud up front, but they just lost their running back. So I don't see any reason why this game shouldn't be as bad or worse than last year. Yeah, I mean,
If it's bad, it'll probably be something like 65 to 30 something. But they have to stop Clint Thurman. I mean, literally, he can run and throw. Looks like Bryce Young out there.
What do they see? What do they see in practice on an everyday basis?
And by the way, that Bryce Young comment, I was kidding about that one.
I was going to say,
absolutely not. Absolutely
But
not.
I mean, what does Chapel Hill have to defend every day in practice?
The running quarterback.
Maybe the best running quarterback. Not even a maybe. He is the best running quarterback in East Texas. So I don't think Clint Thurman is going to be.
He's basically a tailback. He's basically a tailback that can throw.
Like if you watch them, they'll split it every once in a while. Ricky will take the dang handoff and then hand it off to Brisbane. So I mean, he is the most exciting running quarterback in East Texas.
What do you think
every day in practice?
What do you think that Ricky Stewart will go for in this game? Because I say 245.
Depends on how many quarters he plays. Honestly, he may not play the fourth quarter.
At 200 is a safe number. The 200 has to be a safe number, man.
Do they still have that 6'4", 6'5" receiver?
Mayfield, Jalen Mayfield, yeah.
No, not Mayfield. Not from Chapel Hill, from Lindell.
Talking about Lindell. They don't throw.
They have Marcus Field. They have Marcus Field that's on the outside.
Okay.
He's good. He's a good. They got some decent weapons. They don't have the horses to keep up with Chapel Hill. I don't think.
I don't think they have horses. It's just like I said.
Well, and we'll talk about this game next week because it is on the pick'em. So we'll definitely be discussing this one. Let's go to Game 7. This one's another one in that district that Spence is very familiar with. Lancaster over Tyler High, 34-27. Spence, we've talked about Tyler High struggles to get started. It's like they don't start playing until they're behind, and that's really another one in another game where they got behind and they tried to come back and just couldn't do it. And if they could play the second half on, they might be a good team this year, but they've just had trouble getting started.
I think you got to look at who they were last year. This is a 2-8 team last year, and they probably weren't that bad. They probably should have won 4 or 5 games last year with the roster that they had. And then you take away, the quarterback ain't the greatest. He's not. McFall is good, but McFall is a receiver. He's really not a running back. He's really a receiver. And then the offensive line, for the last 2-3 years was struggle. So I hadn't really even paid that much attention to the offense, but I know they're not that talented offensively. Now, where they have made tremendous strides at is defense. They really can lock you down. And I'm really kind of nervous whenever we get to play Tyler because they have a good defensive front. But anyway, they play such good defense that's what keeps them in these games. Like if you go back a week ago against like McKinney North 2 weeks ago, the pick six is what got them back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really just riding the defense. Offensively, they're not that good. McFall is a great player, and if you got a quarterback that can help him stretch the field, which they really don't have,
he's not bad. He's just not.
And he's young. He's really young.
He's kind of small too. He's a short guy.
He's 5'6".
Yeah.
If that, like he's not a really tall dude. But I think and then when you look at the teams that are in this district, this is a extremely tough district. When you got Longview at the top, you've got Forney, McKinney North, Lufkin with maybe the second best running back in East Texas to me anyway, and Kedron Young. Then you've got Tyler, who's now competing. I mean, this is a tough district, and you got to be on your game every night. And Tyler's just not ready. Their coach has done a great job. Woods has done a great job. He's got those boys believing. They're playing good defense. Despite the scores in the 30s or whatever, they're playing good defense. It's just they don't have enough on offense right now. And so I don't know. Until they start stealing some kids from Chapel Hill, they're going to be in trouble.
We don't want to put that out there in the air. We
No.
don't want to put that out there in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I
just don't think they're talented enough right now in order to continue to stay in these games offensively is what I'm seeing.
And Spence, I think you're right. To be honest with you, the only really reliable weapon that they have is McFall. Now their running backs are pretty good. They got something going there, but like we all said, their quarterback is not that big. He's 5'6", maybe 5'5", and maybe even shorter than that. So, and listen, he has a strong arm. Like he can throw. Like I've been to 2 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
They started out slow. The Tyler Legacy game. The only game that they really got out to a fast pace with was when they played Marshall. So, it's. I still have them be in the 4th spot, but they're gonna have to. They'll win this week, but then they got to beat Lufkin next week. Then they got to meet Longview, and then they meet Forney. So.
That's a tough schedule right there.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, Forney and Longview, if I said they'd had a better chance of beating one of those two, would probably be Forney. But the way that Longview and Forney play defensively, I don't know. I don't think Caden Granberry can handle. That's the quarterback. I don't think he can handle what that's going to bring. McFall has to make big plays in both those games. Their defense has to be astounding. I mean, I know Hood, number 12, he's pretty good. They have a guy that wears number 24 on the other side. He's pretty good. And then they have one guy on the defensive line, the edge rusher. He's pretty good. But this defense, and then number 7, Aiden Keys, he's pretty good too. So they're gonna have to figure stuff out. Because I'm gonna say I said it earlier last week. I'm gonna say it again. They shouldn't have lost to McKinney North.
Well, I was at that game, Christian. I don't. You think is that the game you were at?
We were both at that game.
So the McKinney North got them in the first 6 minutes of the game. Okay, they get the ball first. They go down and score. They're up 7-0. They onside kick and got it, and then punched in again. So they're up 14-0 before Tyler High's offense was even on the field.
Right.
So you take that first part of the game out, they actually won that game. Then they had, I don't know if you saw the penalty called at the end, Spence. The legal man downfield was really close. They got the go-ahead touchdown call back for a flag. I just hate it for Coach Woods. I mean, they worked so hard to get that back, and then that kind of penalty just, cost them the game. But one thing I will say is that I've seen this year over last year, they don't quit in these games. Last year, they
exactly, and that's the biggest thing.
They would have tucked their head and quit.
The character that they're playing with.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm impressed by that, and I've said all along, I'm not sure where they are or what they are, but I thought maybe the 4 spot, but that McKinney North game, once they lost that one, that was going. And then they, of course, the Lancaster when they had to have it basically, and so now you're behind the
They
8
still got to
ball.
play Lufkin. Like Lufkin is.
Yeah,
They're not on
If
slab.
Lufkin doesn't lose both quarterbacks against Forney, it's 21-21 before the second string quarterback gets hurt. I mean, Lufkin is a good team. I know we went out and trounced them at 42-0, but that wasn't an easy 42-0. And I know that sounds kind of
that was impressive. We were impressed with that. That was we were real surprised that was that big of a blowout. That's
Sweeney, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do they have to go to Lufkin? Do they have to go to Abe?
Who's that?
No, they play in Tyler this year.
Tyler High's at home.
Okay.
They go
to
Longview. They play Forney at home. They go to West Mesquite this week. That should be a win. So that'll put them at a district play of 2-2. So then you've got Lufkin, Longview, and Forney to finish the season. That's a gauntlet right there.
And they have to win 2 of those.
They're probably going 0-3 there.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lufkin one's probably the one they could get, but Forney and Longview, I think we've kind of established.
Realistically, I would say they'll probably go 1 and 2 of those games. I think they'll just be Lufkin. But Forney and Longview, that's
and I know we're not talking about Longview right now. The game, not this week against North Mesquite. We should handle that one. McKinney North at McKinney North next week is going to be huge for Longview. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but we lost in 21 down there. So we're going back there. We lost in McKinney earlier this year. The stadium's cursed. I'm calling it. That's going to be a big game for us next week too. So I'm not predicting a loss or anything, but we're going to have to show up to play ball both against McKinney North next week too.
All right, Game 7, White House 57, Pine Tree 35.
oh Lord,
what's wrong, Christian? Did you pick Pine Tree?
Lord. No, but I mean, we don't even know what Pine Tree is.
Pine Tree is a roller coaster.
Pine Tree.
They're a roller coaster, Christian. They're
every year. I think what there was one period of time they went 5-5 3 years straight. I think. So, godly.
We kind of know what White
surprised.
House. We kind of know what White House is, though, Christian. We've talked about Texas High as the top of that district. We think White House is 2 at this point, and we've got Marshall. Thought they were 3, but Mount Pleasant. We'll mention that Mount Pleasant beats Marshall, and so now Mount Pleasant, looking like they might pick up the 3rd spot. We kind of talked about. We thought Nacogdoches and Pine Tree might compete for a spot, and Mount Pleasant just came out of nowhere and started playing really well. I just, with Nacogdoches and Pine Tree, I think it's Jekyll and Hyde. We've seen goods and bads from both of them, but Mount Pleasant right now has been impressive. But White House, if they're on a collision course again with Texas High, they beat them last year. I know Texas High hasn't forgotten.
Is that for the district?
It ain't happening.
Well, it should have been. White House actually ended up costing themselves in the week 11 and losing. Yeah,
Marshall, right? Yeah.
Yes.
No,
and
it ain't that. I don't see White House repeating that
Lovejoy.
effort again. They put up 57 points, but it's against Pine Tree. In Pine Tree, so up and down, man. There's no consistency from them.
Mm-hmm.
Their secondary
1 week, and then they don't look good the next week. Mason McMinn and I'm glad Eddie, I just read that comment, but Mason McMinn from Mount Pleasant is a baller at quarterback. He is like one of the coolest guys to just watch. I'm with you, Eddie. He is a baller out there at quarterback. I know they didn't score a whole bunch of points, but he's a smooth dude back there operating for them. White House, I like him. I really love Josh Green. I think he's a really, really, I call him Tim Tebow. He's like their Tebow because he's left-handed, he's big, he's physical, he can do all that stuff, but he doesn't have Jamal McCoy out there anymore. He doesn't have the Carlton Wilson out there anymore. I just don't see that happening again. Texas High has already had their scare against who almost beat Texas High? Tyler Legacy.
Tyler Legacy.
They've already had their scare for the year. Texas High is, to me, heads above everybody else in the district. I don't think it'll be close when it comes down to Texas High and White House again.
All right. Game 8. Van 35, Rusk 3. Man, I didn't see this score coming. I picked Van, but I thought this game would be a lot closer. This game was one of our games we broadcast on NetSN. I kind of got to watch some of the game and looked like, Rusk had trouble they kind of were doing what Longview. They had trouble getting it in. They had good yardage. They get down there and drive, and just Van's defense would just, hold them. And then the second half, Van just completely shut Russ down. The quarterback that Russ has is a good player. I can't think of his name. He transferred in. Yeah, he's a sophomore, I believe. Very, very good quarterback. And Russ has got some good players. That Brownsboro game is going to be intriguing. That's going to be probably again for the fourth spot like we talked about earlier. But anybody else surprised by this score? I mean, I thought Van would win, but I didn't think it would be by this much.
I was surprised. Listen, I thought the game. I picked Van, but I thought the score was going to be, a 34 to 28 ball game. But the fact that Russ couldn't even, I think they were in the red zone 3 times in the first half, I think, and they couldn't even get it in from the 1 yard line. Mm-hmm. So when you look at that, yeah, when you look at that, you say, okay, what is Rusk offensively? Because they were, obviously they had the good start in the year, and then they get in the district, and it's like it's a toss up. Like, what are y'all? So, Rusk, if Thomas Sidden was my coach, I would trust him. But that just was a game that I looked at and I'm like, man, listen, y'all can't do that going forward no more. Because if y'all keep doing that, y'all not gonna make the playoffs. If Van can stop you on the 1 yard line 3 times in the red zone, you're toast. You're done. So I don't know what's gonna come out of that. I think Van did a good job. They have a really good running game, and they have a really good defense too. But that shouldn't have happened. If something like that was going to happen, it should have been like 32 to 20.
Yeah, Van's defense
being 35 to 3.
Van's defense has been pretty good, Christian, here lately. I mean, they have allowed
years
13 points in district. So right now they've allowed 13 total in 3 games. Now, Brownsburg, Canton, Rusk, not the top. They're about to get some of these big dogs here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see. I'm pretty sure they're not going to hold center to that many points, as that one's going to be probably a shootout. Now, I think Van has a chance to hold center to a lower point total than some of their scores they've had this year, because I still think Van's defense is solid. Coach Moffitt has them. They're very disciplined. They're not going to make mistakes. They're going to play their spots. He's going to coach them up and have them in the right spot. So I think that part I think will give center problems, because they're not going to get that. But they've been impressive. I think that's the most thing. I saw them play against Chapel Hill. I mean, it's Chapel Hill. They allowed 50, which, that's not their highest. But Chapel Hill is Chapel Hill. Now, center, I think, is comparable. I think Eddie mentioned earlier, they're kind of the 4A Division II version of Chapel Hill in a way, where their offense is just super powerful. They've got 2 or 3 guys that are just incredible athletes and incredible football players, but their defense is not as strong as Chapel Hill's. I think that's the difference. And so I think that one's going to be close. I picked center. I just think that the offensive firepower that they have and the athletes they have on the field are just going to be a little bit much for Van, but I could see it going the other way. I mean, I think this is going to be a dogfight, but as far as this game goes, I was a little shocked, but Van's impressive. They're playing well.
Van's got a really good defense, and like you said, they've been playing strong in district. No, they are not going to. They are going to allow more than 3 points against center. It's just going to happen. I think the key to Van this week, though, shorten the game. If that run game's effective for Van and they can keep the center offense off the field, and they have to make the most of their possessions, they can't have any turnovers. Basically, play a flawless game. Score on every possession and don't turn the ball over. And I think if Van can do that, then they'll win the game. They need to probably get a timely turnover on defense to kind of get the possession back in their favor. But I think there's a formula for Van to win this game, and I think it's a very winnable game because center hasn't been able to stop a nosebleed this season. So that's a very weak spot for center, and that's why I'm picking Van this week, because I said Van. I talk about defense wins championships. So if I'm going to say that, I can't pick the offensive team, so I'm going to pick the defensive team in Van. So
Take your guns.
You got to.
It's a good reason. I don't like it, but it's a good reason.
I agree with that, KO. I'm big about defense. Van is very good defensively, and to hold somebody at the 1 yard line 3 times, that just goes to say how good you can be. Because I mean, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every now and then. To get stopped 3 times at the 1 yard line, that's not really saying that Russ is bad. That's just telling you how good Van really is defensively, to not give up that 1 yard. Like you said, I think there is a formula to it. I don't think center's invincible. I think center is scary up front because you've seen what they've been able to put up. But if I was coaching against center, I'd watch and see what they did against Dangerfield, because Dangerfield had him on the ropes and then let him go. So I study that film and I come up with a game plan there to stop center. I mean, there's a way to stop everybody. You just got to figure it out. You got to take the time to figure it out. So
Quick question. Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
What was the score last year this game?
I do not remember. I can look it up for you.
Center 63, Van 21.
Ooh.
Now,
Cats coming back.
Center has some.
No.
Dogs.
Same cats
The
coming
same-
back.
The same jerseys coming back, not the same kids, because Van is a little bit different than what they were last year.
Cash Cross,
They still gonna give up 50
Cash
points.
Cross, and
But
KD.
Van's defense is.
I think Van's better this season, though. I
That's
don't.
what I'm saying.
Even if center wins,
no
I don't think the
disrespect.
spread's going to
I-
be that big.
Hold on.
I think
Center's
Center's
still-
better this year.
Hold on. Van,
Very true.
Van's
Very true.
defense is
Center
good.
better.
Van's defense is good. Name another offense that scores like Chapel Hill. I've only seen Chapel Hill score 70 plus, right? Name another offense that's putting up that many numbers.
Center.
Simpson.
Ain't that many.
Ain't that many.
Right, exactly. And who are
Beckville.
they playing? Van's got to mimic. Van's got to think that, well, we gave him 50 against Chapel Hill. Center scores more points than Chapel Hill does.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah,
in a different
that's all I'm
way
saying.
too, though. In a different way. It ain't
It's-
just
it-
about
it's
that they
scoring
do
is
score
scoring.
more points. It's just how they go about getting it.
Okay, guys.
we pretty much
My
we-
bad.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
I've got the starters from last year. Van brings back 8 offense and 6 on defense. Okay.
Mhm.
Center brings back 8 on offense and 3 on defense. So not much difference there. It's basically going to be the same game.
So you got a
I-
bunch of
Well, change them.
snubs.
I think
I'm not changing what I do.
both teams are different. But
Yeah, I don't
what-
believe in it being the same game. You could play the same. I mean, to me, Van and Center can play 10 times. I don't think you're gonna get the exact same game all 10 times.
No.
You shouldn't get it. I don't
No.
think. I mean, unless you just unless you just
You know
stubborn
how
in
it
your
is.
own way and you in your own way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know Center is they have a set of athletes that are just remarkable. I've been able to watch them a couple of times. I'm not taking nothing from them. I'm just saying, how many strong defensive teams have you seen this year? I don't think Center is strong defensively like that.
No, they're not.
And I don't think they faced
So I'm-
anybody that was
But I
strong
don't-
defensively like this.
But Van's not strong offensively. Like,
True.
They're really not.
But if
They're-
but
they're
here's what I'm gonna
anemic
say.
on offense.
If my offense only averages 21 points, then that means I need to hold you to 20.
Right.
And I got a strong defense, so that's the goal. That's the
You-
right.
you
The-
talking
You're not
about
gonna
a
hold
team-
Center to 20 points.
You
Yeah.
exactly.
You know,
That's
yeah.
not gonna happen.
You're not holding Center to 20 points.
You don't
So-
think it can be done?
No,
So Van-
Not at all.
Not
Dangerfield
by
held
Van.
them to
They're not
28.
gonna do it.
Carthage
Dangerfield
will do it.
But Dangerfield held them to. But Dangerfield held them
But
under 20 and then let them
Dangerfield
go.
has a different set of athletes than what Van does.
That's why I was
So-
going to say the
But,
They
speed
can
but
for
what I'm
match up
Center
saying
works.
is
athletically
that,
with Center.
but my point is that it can be done. it can be done.
Yeah, it
That's
can
what
be
I'm
done.
getting at.
It-
It can be done.
The impossible
Right.
can be done. It can be done. Anything can be done.
Anything is
You know,
possible.
So I've got some
All
numbers
right,
for
all
you
right,
guys.
Corey.
Ask
Okay?
Michael
All
Parsons.
right,
Ask
man.
Michael Parsons.
All right,
Ask
man.
Michael Parsons.
Okay.
You know
Anything can be
what?
Done.
Okay.
Where Ray? I
So
need a Ray Lewis. Where
here we
Jeremy
go.
at? I need Jeremy on here.
Oh no.
Here's
I need a
Van's point.
defensive guy.
Van's point output this season: 24, 28, 42. That was to Lindale. We know they don't stop anybody.
Yeah.
28, 28, 49 to Canton. Are they any good? No. And Russ 35.
Okay.
So I mean, if it gets in the 30s and 40s and more, I think center wins easy. The only way Van's got.
Absolutely.
So
I agree with that. But I'm saying if Van gets their way and holds them to a
So
low
Van
score,
plays perfectly, and center plays
Okay.
horrendously.
So let me that to my point here. Here's
maybe,
center's offensive output.
That's what you're telling me.
but
You're telling me Van got to be perfect, and center has to be horrible.
But center
center-
can have a bad game.
So center
They
had
can.
80, 67, 52, 28. That was the one to Dangerfield we just talked about. 57 and 76.
Yeah.
So they're scoring over 50 every game except Dangerfield, who had athletes to match what center has.
Do we believe that any of those teams that they played had a good defense?
No.
Because that's what I'm saying. I don't think them teams they dropping them numbers on actually have good defenses. I mean, we live in a day and age now where offense is just taking over the game, right? Like you got to play the game a certain way, which benefits offenses pretty much. Let's be honest, it benefits offenses. But when you find a defense that can say, "I'll still play your game and beat you at it," to me, I'm like, man, you might want to watch out for those type of.
They're gonna make up 42 points.
You
from
know
last
what?
year.
If center comes out and drops 72 on them, I'll take that on the chin and say, you know what? Oh well, it happened. But I believe that,
gonna make up
that
42
Van is
points
gonna
in
give
1
them
year?
a hard time, just like Kilgore been giving everybody a hard time. You know, they've been, and to
Vince,
me,
don't
those
scare
are
me
two of the
now.
strongest defenses that I've seen so far. You know, I don't even know.
You think they're gonna make up 42 points in 1 year?
No.
It's possible. Anything is possible. Colorado came out here and smacked TCU like it was nothing, and they just got put together 5 months ago.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing too.
You
Some
saw what-
coaches know how to scheme against center.
I'm just saying it's possible.
It's a
possible to
possibility.
happen. It's possible.
Some coaches know how to scheme against the other coach, man. Look at Kyle Shanahan and the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, we got the best defense in the world.
Here
He
we
picked
go.
Dallas apart, dude. He picked them apart.
Hey,
Come on, man.
hey, listen.
Michael
normally-
Parsons, well, Michael
I
Parsons
don't
didn't do
want to
anything that
hold
whole
them
game.
against. I don't want if
Hey,
the
big long
center
view
guys
of
are
the
watching
building.
this, I don't want you to
Big
think that
trip.
I'm holding anything against them. I love
Thank
center.
you.
I at the beginning of the year I told them that I thought they were going to beat Carthage this year. You know, I love center. I didn't know Van's defense was going to look the way it's looked, but you know what? It could be that the teams that they doing this against ain't really that good offensively. I don't know.
How many centers has Van played this year?
Not many.
How many athletic teams with guys,
Chapel
the
Hill.
quarterback that can take it at any snap, and
Okay.
the running back that
Just
can take it on
one.
any snap? They play one team,
They play one
in
team.
which
They're one loss.
Chapel Hill and centers 1 and 2, their quarterback and running back tandem could be questionable. Could
Okay.
be like they could be 1 and 2 with
Okay.
center and Chapel Hill the way those two guys are. With
All right.
Cross
Well, here's the
and Peyton
thing.
Dixon.
Mostly, Van runs. Sweeney? They still run RPO and up the middle runs. So, because they did
Yeah.
last year.
Well, you got
against
Moffitt.
Chapel Hill.
You got Moffitt and Moffitt in the backfield. You got the coaches,
Yeah.
quarterback and receiver, and running back.
What I'm saying is like we pointed out. I mean, these defense that Van is playing, they're not good. And like I said, we know what Lindale is. I mean, they remind me of the 1960 Dallas Cowboys. So that doesn't. I mean,
All right. So look,
I
can
wouldn't
I
even
ask this
born
question?
in
Can I ask this question?
1960.
Is there to any of y'all who believe that this is just gonna get out of hand? Do you not see any way for Van to pull this off?
Yeah, center has to play
I said that.
horrendously, and Van has to play perfectly.
Center would have to turn the ball over. If Van turns center over, then they got a chance to win. That's
They
what
got to play horrendous on offense.
They would have to
But
use some trick
Or
plays,
Van has to play really
something.
good on defense. I see where you're going here. It's okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, because I wish Jeremy here, because Jeremy said it best one time we talked about this. He said, when an offense plays bad, why do you look at it as an offense just playing bad and not that the defense is just playing the way they playing and making them play that bad? It could be that Van pushes them to that, right?
Yeah, man. If they can make up 42 points from last year,
Exactly. It's not
You
probable.
gonna hold them to the
It's
last
not
year.
probable. It's
I'm
not
the same
probable that a
team,
team's
Fitz. I'm not
averaging
the same
60
team
points
as
a
I was
game.
last year.
nah, you're not.
It's not
You're right.
happening.
You're right.
Well, and we'll talk about it
right.
next week. We'll wrap this game up and we'll talk about it.
If Van lose, I'm not coming on this show. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna get sick or something.
Vince,
I'm
I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you. That's
Nah,
my
man.
that's
I
my
don't want to
pick,
hear
man.
this. I don't want to hear this next
I'm
week.
And
with
he's been real quiet while you've been over there trying to defend him. He's been real quiet. He ain't jumped in to help you
No,
out one
because
time.
why I'm gonna go
One
jump in
time.
where everybody's talking. Then I
Yeah,
go
I'm
When
with
yell
you
over
when they were
everybody.
beating me with that tree, KO.
When you want me to jump in, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. What you want me to say? What you want me to do? Yell over everybody else too?
Yes.
I
I'm
feel
Stephen
you.
A,
I
bro.
appreciate you, K.
Yes.
KO, my
Hey,
brother. I
listen,
appreciate
get
I
in
you.
there.
done said what I had to say. I done told you. I done gave Van the recipe to success. I done told you how to win. All they need to
They
do
got to
is
play
stop center.
perfectly
No,
Gotta
no.
play perfect.
They just need to stop
and
center
has to play
once.
horrendously.
They just need to stop
Okay.
center once. They stop
One-
center once and gain that extra possession on center.
One time.
Then they just
They
need to
gonna
stop
keep up
center
with him.
once.
They just gotta stop one time the whole
They
night.
just gotta stop it one time.
And Corey over there
Vince,
looking like
One stop.
Mm.
One stop.
Just one stop.
One
That's all
stop.
they need the whole night.
Well,
one
One
stop.
stop.
Yep. Speaking
I
of one
believe in
stop,
miracles.
All right.
we have game 9 here, guys, and New Diana sure couldn't get a stop as they got spanked by Dangerfield 42-0. I mean, after the way they played, almost beat Harmony. I was like, I thought New Diana would at least compete in this game. Dangerfield said, "Nah, we're going to show our dominance and win 42-0." I had Dangerfield in this one, but I was really surprised by the spread. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, Dangerfield got some athletes. I mean, it was. I was shocked because they played Harmony so well, but Harmony's defense looked like. Sorry, New Diana's defense looked like they just couldn't stop a lick. I mean, their secondary was roasted, and their front seven was treated like whatever. So Dangerfield got some athletes all over the field, but a 42-0
Yeah.
beat down is awful. Okay,
It's weird.
It
It's
is
weird, man, because
I mean,
it's
New
like
Diana's
you
good.
literally lost a close one to Harmony, and you would think that they would bring that energy into Dangerfield, and Dangerfield was just like, nah, I don't care who you play, like it ain't you ain't finna get nothing on us tonight. So
Wait, didn't Dangerfield have a close one against Timpson?
Yes.
They lost, yeah.
Yeah, they lost, but
Okay,
it was
yeah.
a good game. That was the game with Chase
Terry
Johnson
Bussey,
wasn't available.
yeah, the star wasn't there.
JJ Garner.
Terry Bussey gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
So I mean,
here's what I thought. I mean, we've talked about this from even the preseason with Dangerfield. They're going to probably out athlete everybody that they play. I mean, Timpson maybe could match them athlete for athlete, but Dangerfield's so athletic. If they can put it together and play a complete game,
Every year.
cut the middle mistakes out right, and maybe they catch it hot at the right time, and they've looked good here as of late.
I think this game is more of an indictment on Harmony than it says anything about anybody else. That Harmony is not as good as they were last year. Because the role that they went on last year, especially in the playoffs, they played really good defense. They let a freshman quarterback go out there and tear their butts up last week. I mean, it was on the road, but still, like Harmony, when you say Harmony and New Diana, especially with Harmony coming into the game, you telling me Boston Seahorns fully healthy, you would think it would be a blowout. And then for Dangerfield to go in there and do the same team that y'all barely beat the week before and just absolutely do whatever you want to with them. I don't know if you guys saw, they had everybody playing running back last week. Quinn Webb. They had everybody running the ball. It was so easy for them last week. They really didn't even need Chase Johnson. Like the passing game it was the run game really that just took it over. It was a mismatch. And so to me, this is more of an indictment on Harmony and them not being as good as I thought they would be coming into the year, coming off of a state semifinal run. That was surprising to me. That's the only thing that I took away out of this game. Not because I didn't look for New Diana to be good. I didn't look for New Diana to do anything crazy, but I think that is an indictment of who those two teams are. You got
go ahead. So real quick to your point, Harmony brought back pretty much the same team as last year, right?
Yeah.
Basically double-digit starters returning on both sides, right. And they're not as good as they were last year. So just because Center and Van are bringing back the same teams doesn't mean it's going to be the same as last year. I digress. Anyway,
KO broke it down.
That's a nice one. I mean, it'd be one thing though. Here's the difference though. Last year, Harmony was like playing good.
They were healthy. They were a lot healthier last year too, though.
Yeah. But Center is like playing better than they were last year.
I got you. I was just messing with you.
All right,
I was just messing with you. But Dangerfield though, they're clicking. We are waiting every year. They don't rebuild. They just reload. It's every year. Dangerfield's solid. So I think it'll come down to that final game of the year between Dangerfield and Harmony, and I think Dangerfield wins the district, and they have the team to make a run. What their problem is they don't need to beat themselves. They have the athletes and the talent to win games. They just don't need to get it in their own way. Don't beat themselves, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Anybody else want to go on that one? Did I hear somebody? All right. Game 10. Pleasant Grove. I know Eddie's been chomping the bits to talk about this one. Pleasant Grove 63-28 over Gilmer. In Gilmer, I might add. I've been there. That's an atmosphere there as I covered Chapel Hill Gilmer game 1 this season. And it's a tough place to go in there and win. You've got to be a good team, and Gilmer's not the team that they have been in the past. They're still a good team. I think they'll intimidate teams just because having Gilmer on your chest. I mean, I think the matchup by district between Gilmer and whoever finishes third out of Van and Center could be one of the games of the week in the area for by district, because that's the matchup. It's going to be that third place when we figure Gilmer's going to wrap up and get second. But man, Pleasant Grove, 63 points. Whew. We talk about their defense a lot, but they put up some points.
I mean, the fact that Gilmer couldn't even throw the football, but we kind of expected that coming into the year. I mean, Caden Tennyson this is not anything against him, but he's nothing like his brother. Okay. They really don't have a throwing game. They have a big running game. I think they put up 300 yards on Chapel Hill rushing or
Henderson.
Like that.
Yeah, Will Henderson is a dynamic back. He's
good, but they don't have the guys that they had last year. They had guys like Rohan Flewelling, Tariq Tate. I mean, they still have him, but it feels like he's really one of the only 1 out of 5 only reliable guys on that team. And then their defense is like Vans or Lindale. Like it's pretty bad. So this I kind of expected, but I said that Pleasant Grove probably won by 14 points. I didn't expect it to be that. So, and now Pleasant Grove, whether everybody wants to believe it or not, now they're a threat to. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go into the playoffs. They're a threat for the state title. I mean,
third round Carthage Pleasant Grove matchup right now, and it's a weird thing about these districts. So they'll play earlier than Gilmer would play them because the second place team wouldn't play them until the regional final. So that's going to be
Who on this panel thinks that they could potentially have a kind of a little bit of a oh, they'll give a Carthage a run for their money. Who thinks that?
I think they'll beat them.
I think Pleasant Grove's better
This
They're
than
is
gonna
the
beat
year to beat
Carthage
them.
if they play
this
them.
year.
They'll
This
beat
year.
Carthage.
This is the year.
Well, I said that back in 2019, and Coach Surratt proved me wrong. But
I just think what Pleasant Grove brought back and the D1 players they have on their roster currently right now, and the youth at not just quarterback but some other positions from Carthage. Nothing against Surrattstone, he's going to be incredible, but he's a sophomore. You put that much on him, I think they'll get better as the season goes on. But I just think this year we kind of talked about it this is the year to get them here in another year or two. They're not like they're down, but for Carthage standards, they lost a lot off that team that won state last year. Some solid, important pieces, and so I just think that Pleasant Grove right now is just a better team than them overall. I think we'll see, but
I will say this. Man, I like Jet Surratt. I think he's a good quarterback. The problem is that he's going to have to play some teams in playoffs that's going to have to make him throw the ball. Like, say, for example, in my opinion, if they meet somebody like Glen Rose again, I know that's not East Texas, but what I'm saying is if they meet somebody like that again, it's going to be tough to beat them because last year you had weapons to do that. And now you're in a position where Carthage right now, if I were to put Carthage and Pleasant Grove up against each other, that would be like a Alabama Texas game, and not this year, but the year before when Alabama had Bryce Young. That would be a game like that, where it would be like, okay, we don't know. This game could be like an upset because that's what everybody would consider that as. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and they were like, that would be considered an upset. The problem is that Pleasant Grove has a better, in my opinion, they have a better defense. In my opinion, I think they have a better defense. I don't think they have the running backs, but their offense is good enough to give Carthage a run for their money.
You don't think Pleasant Grove has the running backs?
No. Compared to Carthage, because Carthage has two good running backs on their team. So
Caden McFadden and Jalen Boydley ain't good.
I mean, they're good. I just don't think, in my opinion, they could match up against the running backs. But other than that, overall, the rest of the team, I think, is flat out better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're better athletes.
I think Carthage, look, I'm when Carthage had really good receivers last year. Noah Patty was incredible last year. The one that went to Oregon State, Montreal Haddon Jr., 3-year varsity guy, incredible. Brady Manning ain't that. He's not Noah Patty, and he's not Montreal Haddon. And I think Surratt is good, but I just watch how they play, right? When they play a team they know they can beat, they're throwing the ball 40 times a night. They're trying to get Jet comfortable. When they play a game where they think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, what do they come out and do? They pound the football. So they're letting you know kind of if you just watch how they play based off of the plays that they run that night, if they think they can win the game pretty easily, they're going to let Jet throw the ball around and try to get comfortable. But when you see them come out the gate and they hit you with Edwards and they hit you with Matlock and they try to come out and pound you, that's when they know that, hey, we might not have the best chance at this one.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Surratt is not what Connor Cuff or Kai Horton was.
I don't think Connor Cuff was that good. I think he had really good receivers around him. I think he had really good playmakers around him. I don't believe that Connor Cuff was just – I mean, he had incredible numbers, and that offense was incredible last year. But him standing alone, I don't know if he does that without having that type of production.
It helps he had the experience, too.
Yeah, he had been exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think he's better, or do you think that Kai Horton is better than these two, Jet and Connor Cuff?
Yeah, I think Kai Horton is better than both those guys. I think Jet will be better eventually. I mean, I would give Jet, a couple more years. He's 15. I'll give him a couple more years before I say Kyle Horton. But honestly, I believe it was the receivers and the weapons that they had. They had the same run game, and then you had those receivers last year, and I think that's what made the offense so special last year. I don't see that out of the receivers this year. I don't see that explosiveness that they had. You lose that in Patty. The cat that they got number 4, who's pretty tall, he ain't explosive like that. And you got Braden Manning, he's not explosive like that. Pleasant Grove, on the other hand, Pleasant Grove is like D1 everywhere. Duke commit, 2 Oklahoma State commits, Arkansas commit at quarterback, who is a special talent, who I think will make more of an impact on defense when those two get a chance to play each other, because he's an outstanding defensive back too. But I just think that PG, this is the year to get him. If there's ever a year to get him, you better get Jet while he's young and while you're old. And PG is old this year. They've got veterans. They've got D1's talent all over the field. Caden Allen, who to me is one of the best offensive linemen who won't go D1 because he's not a huge guy. He's like the most athletic offensive lineman in East Texas. He's incredible. Just wanted to plug him out there one time. But this is a year. I don't think Carthage is as good as they've been in the past. And it wouldn't surprise me if Center played a good game with him.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think that compare Carthage's defense and their offense to Chapel Hill's, who has the better bunch?
It's kind
as
of
far
unfair.
as
It's kind of unfair to compare the two. I think offensively, Chapel Hills probably has the best run game in East Texas. The question for Chapel Hill is going to be, what do you have to do when you have to throw the ball? That's what it's been. That's what it was last year anyway. They should have won when those two were freshmen. They probably should have won that game against LBJ. Sophomore year, Bernie went out there and shut them down, made you throw the ball. They weren't that good at it. So to me, with Chapel Hill, the question is, how good is Demetrius Brisbane throwing the football versus running the football?
He has gotten better this year with throwing the ball, but they have.
I mean, you can't really tell, to be honest.
He hadn't had to yet.
He hadn't had to. They've been running it at will. Ricky's averaging like 230 a game. Like when they run into that defense, which will probably be Kilgore, when they run into that defense that makes them throw the ball, that's when we'll know how good Chapel Hill really is. Who'd you ask me to compare him to? Carthage. And the same thing with Surratt. Like is Surratt, the first time he had to play Kilgore's defense in the first game of his life, how many picks he threw? He threw 3 picks in that game. So he's still a sophomore. And they're just, like I said, they're not as explosive out wide. I really think PG is probably 2 touchdowns better than Carthage based off what I've seen this year.
Probably their team, Carthage's team this year. I wouldn't say that I would compare them to the team that lost to China Spring, but it's a toss-up because you remember Crosby that first game that year gave them a dogfight.
Yeah.
In New Caney. So we'll see, because at that time I didn't know what Connor Cuff was. They had a different quarterback. That quarterback, I think he got benched or hurt or whatever, and then he came in. So we'll see. But I think PG has the better bunch.
All right. Well, those are our games. Let's talk about the polls. First poll we're going to talk about is our 6A 5A poll. Top 5 for this poll. Number 5 this week is Lufkin. 4, Tyler High. 3, White House. 2, Texas High. And number 1 is Spence's own Longview. What do you guys think about the poll results there?
No arguments for me.
I don't have no arguments. That poll is pretty solid.
I mean, if there was ever a week for Texas High to be 1, it would be this week. Based off what Longview did with Forney at 13. I mean, if you were ever going to say this is a week for Texas High to be above Longview, this would be a good week to say that because of how we played against Forney. But and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, they got after our butts in that scrimmage. The very first scrimmage of the year, Texas High, when we went out there to Longview, they got after us. Now I know
what was the score of that game?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I know we don't prepare for scrimmages. It's not something we do. We don't look at tape, or we don't show our kids tape or anything like that. So we didn't really prepare like we would for a game. But just athletically, Texas High is probably the more, I hate to say it, but they're probably the most athletic team in East Texas. So if there was ever a week for Texas High to be number 1 after a slow start or a slow, not as good as expected game against Forney, I think this would probably be the week to put Texas High over Longview. But I'm never going to say that Longview is worse than Texas High.
So in my votes, I had Mount Pleasant at 5. I thought after the way they played that they deserve some love. And also I had Lufkin at 4. So I didn't have Tyler High in. They've lost a few games. I slid them out of my poll, and I rewarded Mount Pleasant. They've looked good the last few weeks, and until they prove otherwise, I think right now they're third in that district. They'll have a chance to prove themselves. They lost at Texas High, but we know how good Texas High is. They'll have a chance to play against White House, and we'll see where they stack up against White House. But that's how I had mine. I think we all 4 people that voted this week had White House, Texas High, and Longview the top 3. So a little bit shifting. Kyle, you had Tyler High and Lufkin in there, I think. So you had the exact. So it was, but me and Brandon had Mount Pleasant, so we both gave Mount Pleasant. I think they're right there. But I think those are a solid top 5. I can't argue with those. I think if there was a 6th spot, I think that's Tyler High right now. I think so. All right. We're going to go to 4A. 4A is kind of the one that's kind of stayed the same here recently. Let's get the results tabulated here. Let's see here. A second here. Okay. Tabulated results. We have at the bottom, we have load there. Lindale at 10, Brownsboro at 9, Gilmer 8, Sulphur Springs at 7, Van at 6, Center at 5, Kilgore 4, Pleasant Grove 3, Carthage 2, Chapel Hill 1. Thoughts on that, guys?
Who's in front of Kilgore?
Who's in front of Kilgore? So Kilgore is behind Pleasant Grove, Carthage, and Chapel Hill.
Oh boy. Spence, what do you think about it? I'm gonna let you say that first. What do you think about that one?
I mean, Carthage beat Kilgore. I mean, and I guess that can, keep them. The top 4 is okay with me. I think Pleasant Grove is 1 to me, especially after if there was ever a week to move down Chapel Hills, the one that they did against Palestine. It's going off that game, right?
Well, they're coming off. They beat Jacksonville last week.
Okay, so you're going off Jacksonville. I mean, if there was ever a chance, I think Pleasant Grove's win against Gilmer was so dominant that if there was ever a chance or a statement to make it being the number 1 team in 4A, I think that was it. So if they were ever going to have a real argument of being the number 1 team, I think that was it. And of course, Chapel Hill struggling with Palestine other week. I think that would be a good enough reason to move them down.
Well, if you kept up though, Spence, and Chapel Hill struggles with Palestine, it's like a kryptonite for them over the last 4 years.
Yes,
they've had.
I remember the day game last year. Yeah,
in Palestine. Then we had the day game where they
7.
Yeah, then the year before that, we had the quarterback quit at halftime. That was the first year that Brisbane came in. He came in the second half, almost came back, but they still lost. So Palestine has just had Chapel Hills. So honestly, that game is just a tough matchup. I don't know what it is. If Palestine if you get off to a bad start against Palestine, they control the clock and they do a good job. So I think that was part of it. And Chapel Hill they came off a bye week and they just looked flat. Honestly, I actually covered and called that game. So. I think the thing with this one, we have Center and Van at 5 and 6. We're going to figure that out this week, so that'll settle each other out. And then of course Lindale's down at the very bottom. They're holding on down at the bottom. Brownsboro's in there now after their win over Bullard. I think Bullard was in our rankings, and Brownsboro comes up in. I'm not going to argue with that. I think that's fine. We've kind of kept the same 6 teams in the top. It's been pretty consistent there in our 4A poll. Kyle, did you have anybody different in there in yours?
No, I had all the same teams. They were just organized a little differently. I had Brownsboro at 10 and Lindale at 9. I had Center above Kilgore right now. But other than that, no. I mean, all the same team. I had the same 10 teams in there.
Okay. Is there a team, Spence, that you see that's not in this poll that you would include, or is that pretty good 10 for you?
In the 4A, Nah, man, that's as good as it. That's the best 10 teams in 4A right now, for
Okay.
sure.
All right.
I will say this. Oh, wait,
No,
before
go ahead.
we
Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead.
I will say this. I'm gonna throw a little curveball at y'all, especially at Vince. All right, here we go. Let's just say Chapel Hill. Sorry, not Chapel Hill. Let's just say Center beats Carthage. Let's say that. Let's say that. And let's say this week Lindale somehow finds a way to beat Chapel Hill. Pleasant Grove wins out, they'll be number one, in my opinion. They'll be number one. They'll be number one because I just don't see any other team other than probably Center or Kilgore to be that top dog in 4A.
Well, unless Kilgore beats Chapel Hill, then I might think about it.
Unless Kilgore beats Chapel Hill, which that's going to be everybody knows that's going to be close. Everybody knows that's going to be close because Kilgore has a good defense. Their defense is better than last year.
Where's that game at
good
this year?
offense.
That game is in Chapel Hill, week 11. There will be probably no seats available on that one. We'll have the game. I'm actually calling that with Vince, I believe. We'll be on the call in that game in Chapel Hill. That'll be a dogfight. No pun intended there.
It's going to be tough.
All right.
Because
3A, 2A taps, guys. This one's always hard because there's so many good small schools out there right now. Starting from the bottom, Honey Grove at 10. Honey Grove has yet to allow a point this season. What was it, Kyle? 289?
298 or 289 to 0. Yeah, they have a point. Yeah,
I mean, I don't care who
tough.
you are. That's impressive.
Damn.
That's tough.
A point?
They haven't allowed 1 point.
Golly. And we got a 10?
Yeah. Well, they're one of those teams that's climbing. Them and Cooper, I think that matchup's in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a good one there in their district. That'll be.
Yeah, we got to define what East Texas is. I'm with Eddie on this one. If it's past Canton,
that's definitely not East Texas. They're definitely not East Texas.
Canton, no. It's not in East Texas.
They're definitely not East Texas. So I don't know why they're in the poll, but they're definitely not East Texas. But they are.
But my question is, why are they 10 if they haven't allowed a point?
They're not East Texas.
Well, there's you get 4 voters. There's 4 voters in this poll right now. So, someone votes them in, and okay. There's gonna be some arguments. I mean, Texarkana, how far is that away? We include them in our poll too. So it's debatable. So, but I mean, honestly, you score 289 points and don't allow a single point. I mean,
hell, I'm arguing while you're at 10.
Grace Community is at 9. We have a 3-way tie for 6 with Garrison, Hooks, and Troop. Dangerfield and Beckville are tied at 4. Winsboro 3, Malakoff 2, Timpson 1. What do you guys think about that?
There's no way Dangerfield and Beckville need to be tied up at anything.
Yeah, no.
I definitely think the only thing that jumps out to me is if we're going to include this Honey Grove team at 289 to 0 points, they're probably like number 2 at least. And I would go, and I would say that Dangerfield would smoke Beckville's boots every day of the week. So it would be hard for me to have those two right next to each other, especially with Beckville over Dangerfield.
Well, they've got a common loss, and Dangerfield obviously played Timpson better.
Right.
And then, of course, Dangerfield lost to Center, which we know how good Center is. So, I mean, if there was ever a good loss, that might be
both
one.
of those. Yeah, for sure.
So,
can I say something to throw y'all off?
Go for it.
Malakoff and Timpson are going to meet in the playoffs.
Well, that would be impossible because Malakoff's 3A and Timpson's 2A.
Oh, wait. I'm tripping.
You mean Winsboro and Malakoff?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, my God.
Where's Winsboro at on this poll?
Yeah.
Where does Winsboro fit?
I have him at 3.
3.
All right, that's fine with me.
I said,
how good is Kyler Finney to y'all?
I think he's a stud.
I think he's the best quarterback in East Texas.
He's impressive.
He is a stud.
Probably is. He probably is.
I would love I would love to see Timpson and Malakoff.
Hey, I will say, Spence, Eddie loves you. So that's
I
saying
just said somebody else was a better quarterback than Akari Johnson, so he might not love me after that.
Ooh.
But I mean that dude, Kyler Finney is incredible, dude. I'm so hyped for their game against Pottsboro. I don't know if y'all keep
that's
up
gonna
with
be
Pottsboro, but they're
Yeah.
both undefeated. Major McBride is a running back from Pottsboro. The dude is incredible.
I think
leading the state in
that's how
rushing.
they were last year. I think they
Yeah.
went into
And that
that
one went
game
to the wire.
undefeated. Yeah.
that
They'll
was
probably rush for
Yeah,
over 100 yards in
between
that game.
No, that one went to the wire.
Pottsboro, Winsboro, and Whitesboro, they all beat up on each other. I think
Yeah.
they all finished the season with one loss or something like that.
Right.
that's one of our
I
pick'em games this week. Spence, is that one?
said best running quarterback. I said best running quarterback there, Eddie.
Oh, okay. You got to make sure you clarify with Eddie. He'll start throwing stats
Yeah,
at you.
Then he'll start sending you messages on Twitter,
Yeah.
on X.
Yeah.
Next.
But I
Hey,
think,
Eddie, if I do playoff games, please don't throw me off because oh god,
yeah. Well, I think we got
statistician.
this one's got a lot of votes at the bottom. We had Brooke Hill got a vote. They've been playing solid lately. Harmony's in there still getting votes. Hooks is getting a vote. Kyle, you voted for Hooks this week.
I voted Hooks above Harmony.
Wow, man.
Hooks is good.
Eddie's
on walls.
gonna really love you this week.
No, probably not, but I had Jefferson in the poll at my number 10. That I think Jefferson, their lone loss this year is to Timpson, and they only they only lost by 19, which is impressive. They lost 48-29.
There's a lot of folks that can say that they have a loss and it's to Timpson.
Right, but I mean Jefferson played them tight. So
no, I'm saying that's a good stat. I mean, if
they got Atlanta this week, right?
Do what now?
Jefferson Atlanta this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another one of our pick'em games this week.
That's a big one.
So
yeah, I don't think that one's gonna be close. Honestly, I think Jefferson blows out Atlanta.
Yeah, by like 40.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with Jefferson is Cameron Williams is healthy.
Yeah.
He's been hurt. His freshman year, he got hurt at this point in the year. His sophomore year, he got hurt at this point in the year. This year, he's healthy and he still looks good. So
if he can stay healthy, Jefferson's going to have a really good team.
They win district for sure if he's healthy.
Oh, well, yeah. I think even if he's not healthy, I don't think that district's very good.
No.
It's not as good as they have been. So
I think Jefferson's
who goes 0 for Gladewater or White Oak?
Oof.
White Oak, definitely.
They got to play each other. They both going to be 0-9 when they get there.
How far has Gladewater fallen when you're talking and comparing them to White Oak?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's tough.
Yeah,
exactly.
we have that Sabine Gladewater game is kind of a rivalry game. It's on our pick'em, but I never would have thought in a million years I'd be picking Sabine, but Sabine's better this year, I guess.
Yeah,
it's just the sad way. All right, guys, tell everybody where you're going to be. Christian, where are you going to be Friday night?
Oh boy, good old Lindale.
So I think you'll be out there with Keith on the call for Chapel Lindale.
It's going to be a tough one. Like I said, I'm not veering away from my score. It'll be 58-51, but if it's not close, then it'll be Chapel Hill 62.
Wait, did I hear you say 35. Chapel Hill Lindale 58-51?
Yeah, Chapel Hill will win that game.
58-51.
Yes, but I said if it's not close, if Lindale
let's just cover every basis so you don't be wrong.
If Lindale becomes the 1960 Cowboys, then it'll be 62-35.
All right, Kyle, where are you going to be Friday night?
I'll be at Van Memorial Stadium for that Van Center game. It's the Red Zone game of the week, so we'll have the interview with the winning coach on Red Zone Friday night after 10:35. So make sure you check that out.
So tell Coach Meeks hi for me, Kyle.
I'll tell Coach Moffitt you said hello. I'm just playing. I think it'll be a really good game, though. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll come down to the wire. I don't think it'll be a blowout.
And we also have that game on NetSN. So those of you add another game, if you want to tune in, we'll have the Center Van game as one of our games. Vince, you have Friday off. What are you doing
Yeah,
Friday night?
I still haven't decided. Man, I might just sit home and watch a couple of movies. I don't know, decompress. You know, um, I haven't decided yet. I thought I may get out and go travel, um, and watch a couple of games. I was thinking about t- uh, Legacy. Legacy's playing at home this week. Uh,
Eddie says,
that's
"Come to
probably not going
Pittsburgh."
to be a good game.
Eddie
It
says, "Come to
won't.
Pittsburgh." He
Yeah,
I
wants.
it's not
guarantee
going to be
you
a
it will
good
not be a
game.
good game.
Eddie.
I mean,
I
A long,
know
that's a
Pittsburgh. I
long
done
Yeah,
had
drive.
I need
enough
to
of
come watch that.
Pittsburgh.
man,
Uh,
um, I don't
yeah.
know yet. I haven't figured it out. I
Hey,
I might end
worst,
up going somewhere though.
worst case, there's a lot of good games on NetSN you can tune into. So
Absolutely. So, if I don't end up getting out, I gotta. You know what? Honestly, if I'm not at the game, I might be watching this Van and Center game. Um, hopefully it's a good game. If not, I'll turn it off early.
I'm gonna
And
text you at halftime this time. Ask you if you're watching.
yeah,
or if not,
I'll turn
hey,
it off early.
if
what's
not,
the game of the what's the game of the week for us for like everybody? Because I had Center and Van.
It
yeah, I
should be
think
Center and Van now.
Center Van,
Yeah,
Hart
because
Troop, the 7 Mile rivalry is one also that's been mentioned as some of the as one of those. But I mean, we'll see how close
Yeah.
it is. But I think those are the couple that have been mentioned. Um,
also
I
Gorilla, Chapel, and Lindale. I mean,
I
it always
mean,
gets chippy.
yeah, it's still a good one. Spence, where are you gonna be Friday night?
I'll be in the press box in Longview with North Mesquite.
Oh
Yay.
God,
North Mesquite.
Yay.
Yeah.
Let me not
I'm
do
gonna be
that.
honest. I want to do the Tyler High Longview game. You know, just to see what that's like.
Come on
I
down to
think
Lobo
that'll be a
Stadium,
good
man.
game. I think Tyler High is like we spoke about earlier. They're good defensively. Offensively, they start second half and that hurts them every game, every single game.
How many
Their
points
quarterback
do you
is
get?
young too, though. Their quarterback, I think he's a what is he, a sophomore or junior or something like that.
Uh,
Um,
Yeah,
the,
he's
Hayden
soft.
Granby is
they've been using
sophomore.
two, but one of them is really short, and I think I want to say he was a sophomore,
Yeah, I think he is
but
sophomore.
yeah, so he'll get better. He'll learn. Um, Longview's Longview, always and forever. So they dominate the district pretty much. They dominate the
I will
state in a
say
way.
this. I will say this. I thought McKinney was gonna knock a dent in their armor, but then they
Nah,
just Longview just kept being Longview.
Longview is
You
gonna be
know,
Longview for a
Should have
while.
won that game, probably.
Yeah.
Is
Spence, Spence, tell everybody about your channel one more time and what you've got going on there on your YouTube channel.
All right, so it's Spence and Company. Spence, like you see it on the screen, and CO. Period. And it's like every week, every Thursday morning, Wednesday night, every Thursday morning, I post the top 10 most intriguing games of the week. Kind of go through what we kind of just did right then, what I think are the most intriguing games of the week. I also give like a team of the week, like this past week's team of the week was Kilgore for smoking Lindale like that, even though I picked Lindale. And then I do like a top 10 players of the week where I try to show you their huddle highlights from that previous week to try to, show you what they did. Top 10 plays of the week, which a kid from Nacogdoches has absolutely dominated that list, Jalen Brown. His dude has had some more one-handed catches than I've ever seen. It's sick. And then, like I said, I try to give you the top 10 games that are the most intriguing to me. And then at the end of the year, my biggest thing is the top 100 list of East Texas, where I try to name the best 100 players. I look at the all-district teams. You got to be first team all-district to get a look. Then I just go on Huddle and I grade their highlight tapes, how good I think they are, and then I just put it on a spreadsheet and see who the best 100 are. And so it's every class is freshman through senior. All you got to do is be first team all-district to get a chance at it. And like I said, it's inspired by the NFL Top 100. I've always really liked that list. And one of the things I've always hated is how like the newspapers right now are doing their all East Texas teams. There's a Longview version and there's a Tyler version. Like East Texas ain't that big. Like put it
No.
all on one list. And then as the years go by, like Smokey, if you go back to watch it, I'm old school Smokey kind of guy.
Yeah.
2004 all Smokey team had like 12 people on offense. You go look at the All Smoky team now, and you got like 30 people on the first team offense. So everybody's being super inclusive, which is cool. The kids get shined by that way. But I'm old school when it comes to those accolades. Like, I want to know who's the best. And
The
so,
best of the best,
yeah,
absolutely.
no, that's just how I am.
Yeah,
I want to know who's
that
the
was
best.
bragging rights back then.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, you go
Yeah.
on Smoky nowadays, you'll see 4 first-team quarterbacks. It's like,
Yeah.
well, who's the first-team quarterback?
Can you
know
play
what
all
I mean?
4 at once?
Yeah, exactly. You've got a spread
Yeah.
quarterback, a drop back quarterback, an option quarterback. Like, come on, bro. Who's the best quarterback in East Texas? So that's just me. I've always liked to know who the best of the best was. And that top 100 to me that's my little baby. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love that list. Put a
Spence,
lot of time and energy into it. So that's definitely what's going on the page. What's up?
Who is your, like, personally, right now, who is your top 2 guys in Texas right now?
In East Texas or Texas?
Yeah, just East Texas. I'm sorry, not all of Texas.
The best 2 players this year in East Texas. Man, that's tough.
Pressure right there.
I mean,
yeah, that's a heavy question.
My 2 was my 1 was Taylor Tatum.
Taylor's up there. Taylor's incredible. Taylor is incredible. I watch every snap of Taylor play. So it's unfair for me to really judge him because I know what he does good and know what he does bad at. And I just kind of got to wait till his highlight tape comes out to try to judge him the same way I judge everybody else. I think Brisbane is up there. I think he's been special this year. I think Imani Cross is going to be the biggest jumper. Like, he was like 90 for me last year. That dude's going to be top 10 because he's done incredible things this year. I don't know. Last year's number 1 player was Terry Bussey, but he's been hurt for so long.
Yeah, somebody just
I'm looking at that, and I see that.
See,
I don't think Terry Bussey's been the best player in East Texas this year. I don't think he's played in enough games, and I don't.
True.
Look, man.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting against the kid. I'm just really anxious to see what he does at A&M.
I want to know
what you got. What do you do when you're not the best athlete on the field? That kid has been the best athlete on the field since he's been 5 years old. Yeah. What is it going to be when? And that's the one thing that I'm real cautious about with these two-way schools and stuff like that. Is just saying how great somebody is, because, like, bro, you've been the best player since you was 5. What are you going to do when you get on the next level and everybody's fast? Like, it kind of showed in that 5th round playoff game last year against whoever they got beat to in the 5th round. And old buddy from that school went head to head with him, matched highlight for highlight with him. Even caught one on him to win the game. So for me, that's what I worry about when I look at these two-way athletes is like, okay, you're the man. You've been the man since you were in kindergarten, but now you're around other grown men. What are you going to do when you get on that stage? And so that's my hesitation about Terry. I think he's incredible. I think his story is incredible. I don't know if y'all know his background and his actual background story. Him as a person, he's an incredible person. But, I mean, there's always a question mark when you come from that two-way level, and it's like, how good are you? So I'm anxious to see what he does at A&M.
Well, I've really enjoyed checking out your channel. Your stuff's really good. I can tell you put a lot of time and effort into it, and we appreciate you coming on tonight. Spence, you have an open invitation here on Netison. You can always come and join us.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's cool.
Great stuff.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I made it back for another show. All right.
I mean, you got Eddie on your team. He said welcome Christian as well. So thanks, Christian, for joining us tonight. You're on your first wrap-up show. It's been fun tonight. It's been fun tonight, guys. Okay, we always end with this. The game you are looking at this week is like, that's the one I want to see what happens on. The game, East Texas.
Got to be Winsboro, Pottsboro, or Van Center in my mind. Either one of those 2 games. I'm keeping an eye on both of those.
Chapel Hill, Lindale, and Van and Center. Those are going to be the 2 games I watch out for. And 2 games I'm probably going to look back at over and over again twice, maybe.
Van Center and Winsboro, Pottsboro. So those are the 2 biggest ones to me this week.
Yeah, I agree that one. I'm excited to see the Pottsboro Winsboro matchup is good for me because you got the run-in of Major McBride versus Finney, the quarterback. Is it what's going to take effect? Who's going to be the person that steps up other than those two to make plays. I think that's going to be important. I'm looking at that Troop ARP game, and I know you guys are thinking Troop, but I just think ARP. What I saw last week, I think they're much improved, and I think they have a chance. Troop's going to have to mess up, I think, but I think ARP is good enough that they could sneak up on and get and steal one at home. I may be wrong. I'll come back and I'll take my licks next week, but I just have a feeling that ARP's going to come out to play in this one, and it's going to be a good one. I'm looking for that. It's always the Tiger rivalry is always a good one there, that 7 Mile rivalry. So, yeah, I'd like to thank Spence for coming on once again. I appreciate it. For Spence, Christian, Mr. Red Zone, Kyle Owens, and Vincent Johnson, I'm Bret Swinney. We'll catch you next week right here on the Weekly Wrap-Up Show, 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday night. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.